Sup guys, it's Alex here and welcome back to Bracketology. Now I know it's been a long time since I've made one of these Bracketology videos. It's been since like April, like right after the tournament ended, but I am back. I've been losing a lot, like 30 to like almost 100 subscribers just because I haven't been posting college basketball content. I mean, I've been doing vlogs with like NASCAR races and NFL games, and I'll probably be doing a couple more NFL games, and I'll be going to a couple Louisville games, maybe against like Michigan, North Carolina, Virginia, all that stuff, but that's going to be in the future. That's probably going to be vlogs, but we'll go ahead and go back to this college basketball bracketology content. This one was for October 3rd, and I'm sorry for getting it out so late, but I have been super busy. This is my last semester of college. I graduate in December. I have been busy nonstop with that and work, but now I finally found some time to make it at, what is this, like 8:14 in the morning before my class, so we'll go ahead and knock this out. But first, I just wanted to say Brackify is now down. I know last year they had said it was going to be going down December 31st, but it ended up like sticking through the end of the college basketball season and the tournament. But now Brackify is officially down, so we will not be able to do the voting and stuff unless one of you subscribers can find something similar to Brackify. I've been kind of researching around, but a lot of it's like you have to pay to do a lot of stuff, and there's not really interactive stuff that has all the pictures and stuff that I had used on Brackify. Nothing like that, but I did find like an Excel template for NCAA Tournament Championship bracket, which I mean I can post as like a link or whatever in future videos and stuff if you guys want to do that. But it has all this breakdown of the different brackets and stuff. But before we get into my picks and stuff, I'll go ahead and kind of go through this bracket. So the number one seeds are Michigan State, Florida, Kansas, and Louisville. I think it's a bit early to be saying Florida will be a one seed. I'm thinking maybe a 2 or a 3 as of right now. We got to see how all the pieces fit together. But I mean, they're obviously a lot better this season than they were last season. I can see Louisville as a 1. Kentucky, I think, should be the other 1 over Florida, but then I'm okay with Kansas. Duke is down to a 2 along with North Carolina. I think those two teams will have something to say by the end of the year. Maryland is a 2. They're a team that's on the rise with Bruno Fernando and Anthony Cohen, I think is what his name is. I'll have to research this. I'm not too knowledgeable about all the college basketball teams this season. I'll have to do more research as the season progresses, but I think we're like 20 days, maybe 18 days, whatever it is, out from the college basketball season, starting off with Michigan State and Kentucky. As a Kentucky fan, I am so excited for that game. I'm very nervous for it too. I mean, we'll probably end up losing just because Michigan State has more team cohesion and stuff with Cassius Winston, but I think Kentucky will give them a good game, a much better game than they did against Duke last season. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into my picks. I don't know how long this video will be, but actually I'll go ahead and show you guys the bubble teams real quick. Why not let that fly? Last 4 buys are Penn State, Iowa State, Texas, and Wisconsin. Last 4 in are Cincinnati, Iowa, Arizona State, and Dayton. You'll see those in the playing games here in a little bit. First 4 out are Mississippi State, Oklahoma, USC, and Kansas State. And then the next 4 out are Alabama, UCLA, Syracuse, and Minnesota. So those teams have some work to do. Can't really say what the big difference is between all those teams right there because, I mean, it's preseason. But we'll go ahead and let it fly. We'll trust Joe Lenardi with his predictions there. So over here in the West Regionals, I'm just going to kind of be selecting teams from this drop-down menu. That's how we're going to be filling it out. You guys can find something better. I mean, there's obviously probably something better out there. I just don't have the time to go research it as of right now. That'll change in the future once I graduate, but we'll see. Obviously, Michigan State's going to be the winner of Delaware State and St. Francis. Over here, we have Ole Miss and Washington battle the SEC versus Pac-12. I'm going to go with Ole Miss there. I mean, they did pretty good near the end of the season last year, but they were ultimately faltered in the NCAA tournament. Memphis and Harvard, I'm going to go with Memphis right there. I don't see a 12/5 upset, plus Memphis is super talented. We'll just see how it ends up turning out for them. Then I'll go with Seton Hall over Belmont. Miles Powell and Seton Hall. I think Belmont's coach retired. I can't remember what his name was. I'm not even going to try to remember because I'll get it wrong. But I don't think they'll be that good of a team this year. They'll probably still win the it's either Ohio Valley. Yeah, I think it's Ohio Valley, where Murray State won with John Morant. That's not happening again. Creighton and Texas. I think Texas is going to pull the 11/6 upset right there. Then Oregon, I think, will beat Charleston if I can get that drop-down menu. There we go. Next up, we have Auburn and Providence. I'm going to go with chalk right here. I'm just going to go with Auburn winning that one. They're the SEC team. Did pretty good at the end of last year. I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out this year, but I trust Bruce Pearl there. Then we got North Carolina obviously beating Radford. Then we'll go down here to, I don't even remember what regional this is, but Louisville obviously will beat the winner of Grambling and Sam Houston State. Georgetown, I think, will beat Tennessee here with Mac McClung. Tennessee will get as many wins in this NCAA tournament as they did against Georgia State in football this year. 0. I hate Tennessee, but I mean, I like Grant Williams, and I like because he's on the Celtics now, and I was okay with like Admiral Schofield. I don't know where he ended up, if he went to the NBA or not. I think he graduated. I don't know. Ohio State and Liberty. I'm going to go with Ohio State winning that one. Liberty was pulled off the upset, I think, against Mississippi State in the tournament last year. I want to say that's who it was. But then we have Texas Tech beating East Tennessee State. That one's pretty obvious there. VCU, I think, will lose to the winner of Arizona State, and Cincinnati will go with another 11-6 upset here. I'm going to go with Arizona State winning that one. Villanova, I think, will beat Northern Kentucky. Then we got NC State losing to Penn State. I think the 10's going to win there. Penn State looked pretty good at the end of last season. And then Kentucky's obviously going to beat UC Irvine. Then we'll go up here to the top right regional, just kind of doing this how I did with the old Brackify bracket. We have Florida beating Rider. That one's pretty obvious. I don't ever see a 16 beating one after what UMBC did to Virginia. I don't know if it'll ever happen again. Then we have Florida State. I think they'll beat Davidson right there. Davidson's looking like a strong mid-major. We'll see what happens. That sets up a Florida State game. That'll come later. Arizona and New Mexico State. I'm going to go with an upset here. I'm going to go with the 12 seed. New Mexico State Aggies over Arizona. Arizona missed the tournament last year. They're getting some more talent in, but New Mexico State has always been one of those pesky mid-majors. I think I'll go with them there. Then Purdue will beat North Dakota State. LSU will beat the winner of Dayton and Iowa, which I have no clue who that'll end up being. Baylor, I think, will beat Colgate. Then we have Xavier beating Colorado. If I can get that drop-down menu, there we go. And then Duke will beat Georgia Southern. So then in the final regional, we have Kansas over Northern Colorado. I mean, that one will never change, that pick. Then Houston and Michigan. I don't know if Michigan's going to even make the tournament this year. They have a new coach in Juwan Howard, I think is what his first name is, after John Balon left for the Cavs. So I think Houston's going to win here. Michigan's in kind of a wait-and-see year to see how that goes, but I'm not expecting too much out of them this season. Then I think St. Mary's will beat Western Kentucky. Virginia, I think, will beat Vermont. Utah State was looking really good at the end of last season. I'm going to go with them over Wisconsin there. Gonzaga will beat Loyola Chicago. Marquette with Marcus Howard, I almost said Jordan Howard. Marcus Howard, they'll beat Iowa State, and then Maryland will beat Ball State. So then for a spot in the Sweet 16 up here, we have Michigan State and Ole Miss. That one I think is pretty obvious. I'm going to go with Michigan State winning that one. Then we got Memphis and Seton Hall. I'm going to go with Miles Powell and Seton Hall winning that one right there. Then we have Texas and Oregon. I'm going to go with Oregon winning that one. I mean, they got Peyton Pritchard and a lot of good recruits coming in. Then we got Auburn and North Carolina. I'm going to go with North Carolina and win that one. I'm just not too confident in Auburn's talent as of right now, but I mean, that could change throughout the course of the season. A rematch of the old Big East right here, Louisville and Georgetown. I'm going to go with Louisville winning that one. And Texas Tech, I think, will lose to Ohio State. 5/4 there. I'm going to go with the 5. Then we got Arizona State and Cincinnati, or I guess Arizona State versus Villanova, because I had Arizona State winning that game. I'm going to go with Villanova winning that one right there. And then Kentucky will beat Penn State. I don't think that one would even be very close. And then over here we have Florida and Florida State. Don't know too much about Florida State as of right now, but obviously that's going to change throughout the course of the year. So I'm going to go with Florida. I know they got some good talent. Then Purdue and New Mexico State. Why not let it fly? Why not go with another upset here? Why not have a 12 seed in the Sweet 16? I mean, this is the preseason. Plus Purdue lost Carson Edwards and their Ryan. I can't remember what his last name was, but he was on fire throughout Ryan Klein, I think. He was on fire throughout the course of the tournament. They're losing him because I think he was a senior. So I'm going to go with New Mexico State winning that one right there. LSU and Baylor, I'm going to go with Baylor winning that one. Then Duke, I think, will beat Xavier. Then down here, we got Kansas and Houston. Obviously, Kansas is going to win that one after their little scandal, or not scandal, but incident with Snoop Dogg at their version of Big Blue Madness. And we got Virginia versus St. Mary's. I'm going to go with Virginia. I think Tony Bennett will be able to get them into the Sweet 16 there. Gonzaga and Utah State. I think Gonzaga will win that one. I trust Mark Few right there. And Marquette and Maryland. I'm going to go with an upset pick right here. I'm going to go with a 7 seed over a 2 seed. Maryland, I think, still has to prove it to me that they're going to be a top team. They have the talent to be a top team, but I'm going to go with the established guy right there in Marcus Howard. Why not go with the upset pick? I know Maryland fans are probably going to be pretty upset with me if there's even any Maryland fans that watch my videos. So then for a spot in the Elite Eight, Michigan and Seton Hall, or Michigan State and Seton Hall. How is this going to? Oh gosh, we got a lot to work with. We have a lot to work with here. I'm going to go with Michigan State winning that one. Then Oregon and North Carolina. I'm going to go with North Carolina winning that one, winning that one too, to set up Michigan State and North Carolina in the Final Four. Louisville and Ohio State. I'm going to go with Louisville winning this one right here. I think that they'll be able to move on there. I know I'm kind of going with chalk at this point, but then I'll also go with Kentucky beating Villanova. Villanova just, we'll see how they end up going. I think Javon Quinterly, whatever it is, I think he's still with the team. We'll kind of see what happens there. But then Florida and New Mexico State, I'm going to go with Florida. I'd love to see New Mexico State keep, wrong one. I'd love to see New Mexico State move on there as like a Cinderella team, but I just don't see it happening. Baylor and Duke, obviously you got to go with Duke here. I think they're the obvious choice. Then down here we got Kansas and Virginia. I'm going to go with Kansas winning that one. I don't see where Virginia's going to have to prove it to me with all the talent that they lost in the draft because of graduation and stuff. We'll have to see what their team looks like. Then Gonzaga and Marquette. I'm going to go with Marquette moving on here with Marcus Howard. Why not have the 7 seed moving on to the Elite 8? So then first spot in the Final Four up here, we got Michigan State and North Carolina. These two teams always seem to run into each other for some reason. I'm going to go with Cassius Winston and Michigan State in this one. Moving to the Final Four, that's going to take a while to get used to with this Excel sheet. And Louisville and Kentucky, that one's going to be a great game. Those two teams play at the end of December. As of right now, I'm going to go with Kentucky just because they're more talented. But obviously, these are two of the top 5 teams in the country, and I got to go with Kentucky at this point. Though I wouldn't put it past Louisville to win this game. And then we have Florida versus Duke. I just don't know enough about Florida to feel confident in their chances to beat Duke. So I'm going to go with Mike Krzyzewski and Duke. Then we got Kansas and Marquette. As much as I'd love to see Marcus Howard and Marquette's run to the Final Four continue right there, they're going to fall just a bit short and lose to Kansas, which sets up Michigan State, Kentucky. This is the season opener for both teams. I think that Michigan State will win against Kentucky in the original with Cassius Winston winning. And why not, since I say that they're going to win there, why not go with Michigan State making it to the national championship game? I think I'd really love to pick Kentucky in that spot, but I think that they'll lose to Michigan State in that game. And then Duke and Kansas, I'm going to go with Duke winning at this point, the 2 seed, setting up a national championship game of Michigan State and Duke. Rematch of last year's Elite, I think it was Elite 8, where Michigan State was able to pull off the victory against Duke with Cassius Winston shutting down Zion and R.J. Barrett for a national champion of, I'm going to go with Michigan State. Kind of same thing that happened last year. I mean, I'm going with the number 1 overall seed here, but I think that they're the best team. They're the number 1 team in the preseason rankings for a reason. So there we have it. There's a box for a championship score right there. I'm not going to fill that out. But there we have it. Those are my predictions for the NCAA tournament based off of the bracketology from obviously October 3rd. Tons of stuff are going to change throughout the course of the season. If you guys know of some better like bracket site that I can put in pictures and have you guys vote and stuff like that, similar to Brackify, let me know in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys like my return to the bracketology. Let me know what you guys thought and your own predictions and stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all later.